On August 30th, 2005, someone posted the following in a thread titled, "The place in Shirane where time stops." Is there anyone here who can understand my strange memories? It was in the first or second grade, I think. One of my friends said, "I found this amazing place. Let's go check it out today." And so I went along. He was the type of guy that would say stuff like he'd seen aliens, so I didn't have high expectations. The place was... There was this small mountain with a park at the top, and it was a slope on the other side of a fence facing the park entrance. I remember I used to slide down that slope on cardboard. There was a large highway at the bottom. There was a section of the slope where the grass had dried up, and my friend pointed at that. I went over to it by myself, but nothing happened. Disappointed, I watched the cars driving by on the road below for a bit. Then my friend tapped me on the shoulder and moved me away from that spot. "I think you better go home," he said. I realized it was already evening. It was a Saturday, and we'd gone there straight after school without eating lunch, so it must have been around 1 p.m. when we arrived. But at that point, it was already nearly 6 p.m. Huh? I was so confused. "It's strange, right?" my friend said when I told him what happened. I went home and ate dinner with my family, and then I realized something suddenly as I was about to go to bed. That place was completely silent. Dozens of cars drove past it, and there were kids playing in the park nearby. It was as if I lost all sense of time. I didn't even notice it getting dark. The next day, my friend said we should go back again, but I was scared, so I decided not to go. That night, I got a call from his parents asking if he was at our house because he hadn't come home yet. My parents and his rushed over to that place, and he was sitting there watching the cars drive past. I was terrified and told my parents about that place through my tears, but they didn't believe me. If he had gone there without telling me about that place beforehand, even now, it still scares me thinking about it. If this poster is to be believed, as a child, his friend found an amazing place that seemed to exist outside of our normal realm of time and space. Time didn't stop there exactly, but it slowed down so much that it might seem that way to someone standing there. What appears to only be a few seconds looking at the cars below is actually a few hours to the world outside that specific spot of dried grass on a slope. The poster then shared a map link to the location. The map, originally a Yahoo map that no longer works, pointed to an area close to the Shirane Furei forest. There's a green part behind the Asahi Library, right? That's it. That takes me back. Although, it's not a very good memory. And I often visited that park after that as well. One day when I was in junior high, I went over there with my younger brother, thinking maybe it was just a childlike fantasy. But just like the other time, my brother tapped me on the shoulder and pulled me back out. I told my brother to try it out, and the moment he entered, it was just like watching a manga. He stopped moving entirely. I went pale and pulled him out. My brother kept crying about how scary it was the whole way home. Maybe it's still the same as it was then. Just writing it down frightens me again. Things get a little confusing here because the map the poster originally linked to isn't near Asahi Library, nor is there a park nearby. However, if we head down to the Asahi Library, we can find a green section, like he stated, as well as a park. This location is only a few hundred meters away, and Shirane Dori can be seen from nearby, so this was likely where he meant to link. The poster later mentioned he didn't remember the location exactly, so it was likely a small mistake on his part. Other users in the thread immediately requested someone nearby go and check the location to see if it was still the same. Others tried to explain how it might be possible. Maybe there were strong electromagnetic waves there, which was also what killed the grass. The area was about the size of a hula hoop. Do hula hoops come in varying sizes? Anyway, one person can easily fit inside, but it would be tough for two people. As for the surrounding area, I honestly don't remember it very well. Maybe it was all moving too fast. It's like all your thoughts stop as well the moment you step inside. That was probably why my friend couldn't get out alone. According to my brother, it's like when you're standing at the toilet when you're sick with a cold. I think it feels a little like that too. The original poster then mentioned he would be returning home from school for the first time in a while the following day, so he planned to ask his brother about the strange spot. He couldn't help but think, even now, that it was nothing more than a dream. People asked him to give a live report if he went back, and others posted questions for the man to ask his brother. He then returned the following day with an update from his brother and the location in question. I have some amazing news. I'm pretty worked up right now, so this might be difficult to read. I talked to my brother today, and he remembered it as well. I remembered telling my brother the first time that I might stop moving once I entered that spot, so he should pull me out if that happened. But apparently, I didn't actually say that. My memory. I took my brother to that place. I told him to quickly pull me out. I entered and time stopped. My brother saved me. His memory. This is probably what really happened. April of 5th grade. I was in junior high 1st grade. We went to that place he didn't really understand where time supposedly stopped. I remembered this part too, but I couldn't explain it well, so my brother was like, "Huh?" I stepped into that section of dry grass, but I didn't say anything or ask him to help me. I just suddenly entered. When I suddenly stopped moving, he didn't know what was going on, so he called out, but I ignored him. In reality, I couldn't hear him. He thought I was being stupid, so he went home, ate an ice lolly, and when our mum got home from her job and asked where I was, he went back to get me. I was still standing on that same spot, so he grabbed me and pulled me out. When I heard he'd gone home and left me there, I screamed, "Are you serious?" That was the first I'd heard of that. I thought he rescued me right away, but in reality, I'd been there for about 30 minutes while he returned home to eat. Now my heart's racing and I'm scared. I just learnt for the first time that I'm missing 30 minutes worth of memories. Do you understand just how frightening that is? Having learnt that the original poster's memories were perhaps real, other users were even more determined to find this strange location where time froze. On September 2nd, several days after the first post was made, another user went out to visit the library and surrounding areas, but couldn't find any slope nearby. There was, however, a long set of stairs leading to a nearby shrine. They pointed out several inconsistencies with the original poster's story as well. The shrine was at the top of the mountain and the park at the bottom. There was no slope gentle enough to slide down on cardboard. It was so steep you'd probably die and fall in the river if you tried. And while the highway was a wide road now, back in the day, it was much smaller. Still, they also pointed out that it did happen a long time ago, so that no doubt accounted for the original poster's memories being vague and not entirely accurate. The same user then went out to take some photos with proof, sadly no longer available, and wondered if they had gone to the wrong place after all. The road wasn't visible from the top of the mountain, and there was nowhere nearby to slide down a slope on cardboard. Another user pointed out the park directly behind the library, the one we can see in Google Maps today, but locals pointed out that park was only recently built. As such, it couldn't be the same one. After some back and forth and discussion that maybe the park was somewhere else, the same user made their way back out and, at 5:04 p.m, reported they had found a location that could potentially be the right one. There was a small hill behind some old apartments that were behind a Family Mart convenience store. There was a place where you could slide on cardboard, and from it you can see Shirane Dori too. You can see it perfectly. I feel like the slope might have been bigger in the past because there weren't houses there then. I don't know about the bear part though. Although never outright stated, they were likely talking about Kajikubo Park, located behind some apartments and a Family Mart, and close enough to Shirane Dori to clearly see it, and with gentle enough slopes to slide down. This park also happens to sit between the library and the Fureai forest, making it the best candidate thus far. The user shared photos, but they are sadly no longer available. That's it! The original poster claimed that park was indeed the one he played at as a child, although it had greatly changed. Seemed all the grass was gone and the area was full of weeds, making it impossible to find the spot of dry grass that had apparently once existed. The user out in the field reported they would be heading home, seeing as there was little else they could do, and the locals were starting to look at them funny. The original poster also revealed he had work, and that, it seemed, was that. They had found what they thought to be the location from the original poster's childhood, but the specific spot in question could no longer be found, thanks to the changes made at the park over the years. But at 2:29 a.m. that same night, another user appeared with the name Wakabadai. Good evening. That place isn't too far from my house, so I'm gonna check it out. I'll take my digital camera and report on it while I'm there. Once I've made up my mind, I have to go. It's bothering me so much I can't sleep. Please send assistance if I suddenly stop posting. At 2:59 a.m., Wakabadai posted that they had reached Surugamine Station. They were going to buy a charger because their phone was about to die and requested someone guide them to the correct park. They had set out without properly checking where it was. Numerous posters shared maps, and at 3:53 a.m., Wakabadai revealed they had found a park, but they didn't think it was the right one. After setting out again, Wakabadai posted at 4:32 that they had found the correct park. They were going to attempt to find the spot, so please send in a second team if something happens. Cell reception was apparently not too good at the park, and after a few failed attempts, Wakabadai finally got a full message through again, almost a full hour later, at 5:20 a.m. They claimed to have taken numerous photos and posted a brief update about the visit. Of course, I visited the shrine. It was a regular park surrounded by apartments. As I climbed the hill, I saw it on my right. Nobody was there, but I walked around the grassed area, keeping an eye out for others, and then went to the spot in question. The uploaded picture showed a thicket, so I groped through that area. I found a spot with no grass, so I figured I'd found it. I tried standing on that spot, but it didn't feel like time stopped. It was definitely a different feeling to that. But it really was different. I don't know how to describe it. After returning home, Wakabadai shared a few photos taken from their cell phone, reporting that their digital camera had stopped working, and claimed they didn't feel so good. After going to sleep, they returned around 11 a.m. that morning and once again clarified the strange feeling they felt upon standing on that spot of dried grass in the thickets. Like I said last night, it's hard to describe how it feels when you stand on that spot, but it was kinda like floating or spacing out. It was really strange. I wanted to run, but my legs couldn't move. Maybe it would be better they wouldn't move. I was tired, yeah, but it was a different feeling to that. I think people should go in a group and confirm how they feel with each other. So, if Wakabadai was to be believed, there was a spot of dried grass where the original poster claimed to have their time-stopping experience as a child. At the present time, it was under some thickets, but upon standing on that spot, they felt something strange. Not quite time-stopping, but almost like they were floating. A feeling similar to exhaustion. Wakabadai mostly disappeared after that, and several other users, excited by the prospect of another real-life Ni-channel adventure, went out to find the spot for themselves. The original poster also returned, this time giving himself the name Fudomaru 414 to better stand out. He also clarified some questions other users in the thread had. You apparently went there in the 1st or 2nd grade of elementary school, then again in junior high. Were there any changes to that spot? Was it more intense the first time, or the other way around? About the same. But the biggest difference was that in elementary school, it was over like that, while in junior high, it was like 30 minutes just completely disappeared from my memories. But I think that might be because I wasn't in there for as long that time. It was close to 5 hours in elementary school, but junior high was only 30 minutes. Although the thread continued for several more iterations, reaching up to 8,000 comments overall, little new information came out of the later threads. One user added Atago Park to the mix, and after checking it out, claimed that might actually have been the park the original poster remembered, because they felt their ears compress and their head go foggy at the bottom of the slope there. Considering that little else about the park matched the story, it seems unlikely the original poster was referring to Atago and little else was said about it. But was the original poster's story about time stopping real? After 8 threads, it seemed at the very least that the location did exist. Kajikubo Park seemed to be the most likely location, and a user had even found a patch of dry grass there. Nobody could replicate the time-stopping effect, however, and whether you want to believe something like that is even possible to begin with is up to you. It's possible that the original poster did have a strange experience as a child, something that warped and shifted in his memories as he got older. It's also possible that it was all a lie from the beginning, and the poster simply created a story around a very real location. He wouldn't be the first nor the last person to do so on the Ni-channel boards. Ni-channelers do love setting out on adventures, after all. Either way, the mystery ended as just that, a mystery. A likely location was found, and some even claimed it made them feel strange. But time most certainly didn't stop. At least, not anymore. But what do you guys think about this one? Do you have any similar stories where you're from? Let me know in the comments below, and I'll see you again next time.